Saturday and happy Mardi Gras Readathon. We're rolling out today.
We are.
First day. And I have a partner in crime for this Readathon marathon. I want to call it marathon. It's a Readathon. I'm Kat of Kat's Novel Adventures and the creator of our lovely Mardi Gras Readathon is Laurie. And she is of Books, Ink, and Paper. And we are going to be sprinting for a couple of hours. And we hope that y'all are ready to do some reading or a productivity task or lounging around on the couch. I mean, perhaps you're heading out if you're in the New Orleans area or the Gulf Coast, maybe heading out to a parade or two because the Mardi Gras season has started. It is in full swing. King cakes are out in the bakeries, in the stores. There's Mardi Gras parades happening. In fact, some were last week, and I'm ready to read. How about you, Laura? You ready to read?
Right. I've been reading all morning, so I'm ready to keep reading.
Okay, so Laurie, I know some of your peeps are here in the comments too, but you know what we're doing? We are actually, let me say this before I give it to Laurie. We are doing an experiment today.
Mm-hmm.
We are streaming on my channel as well as on Laurie's channel.
We hope
so.
so.
Hopefully I have somebody looking to see if it is streaming. So if you are on Laurie's channel right now, please put in the comments that you see Laurie and you hear Laurie and you see me and you hear me because we're just, you know, this is a whole experiment for us. We both love challenges and we love to try stuff that's new and exciting. So hopefully it's all working out. And anyway, okay. So Laurie, tell us a little bit about yourself and your channel, what you read, you know.
Oh, sure.
Give us something. Throw me something, Mrs.
That's right. That's right. It's interesting. It's not a very diverse conversation in Mardi Gras sometimes when you think of the traditional things we say, right? But yeah.
Right.
So I'm originally from Chicago. I ended up here in the South on the Gulf Coast because my ex-husband was transferred here and then we divorced and I stayed to be here with my kids until they graduated high school. And my youngest is 35. So clearly I haven't gone anywhere, but I've become accustomed to it. If any of you are familiar with the Gulf Coast, I used to live in a little town called Bay St. Louis, which I love. And then we moved to Gulfport, which is, I think, the second largest city in the state of Mississippi. So I have a different life here. Zach just got in from shoveling snow. So it's cold here for us, right? I mean, it's not cold for somebody who grew up in Chicago, but it's cold here. And it may be as cold as it is there soon, I understand. I started this channel back in, I think, 2000. It was interesting. I was trying to figure this out. 2017, maybe it was 16. And hey, there's my friend Tammy. Believe in Your Shelf. You guys go subscribe to Believe in Your Shelf. Tammy's wonderful. So yeah, I started the channel a while ago. Then in 2019, 2020, early 2020, things all kind of went so crazy. And my work, people were saying, oh, work probably slowed down for you. No, it got nuts. So I didn't have time to do the channel for a while. And then I came back at the end of 2022. And I'm so happy that I did. It's just such a lovely experience. I'm a professional coach by day, and I have a large number of clients. I do some coach training delivery, and then my whole rest of my life is my family, my kids, my grandkids, and all of my books. So yes, Tammy is one of my original OGs. So
well, I'm assuming everybody can see us on both channels because I have my person that's supposed to be checking hasn't come in to tell me. So hopefully everything is working fine. On my end, I see two little check marks and I see that there's a little link. So I'm assuming that it's all going to go well. I know we're not supposed to assume anything, but hey,
I have a check mark.
It's the Mardi Gras season and you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
As you see that I'm wearing this silly hat.
Yeah, some people spend part of the season without clothing on, although they probably won't this year, right? Because
right. Well, fun fact about this hat. Let me just tell you a little story about this hat. My husband and I both did extra work for a movie that Nick Cage was in, Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Down here in New Orleans. It was originally called Medallion, and I think it got changed to something else. I'm not really 100% sure, but I used to do background work when I was on sabbatical from teaching. And I convinced my husband to also come for this. So they hired me, my husband, and my car. So I got a $20 bump because my car was in there. Basically, what it was all about is Nick Cage, is running through New Orleans. It takes place during Mardi Gras. Toth was actually running, but we had our own fake little Mardi Gras scene going on the side with a float they had constructed for this or whatever. And Nick Cage is pretending like he's running through cars that are parked watching Toth roll or whatever. And so it was so fun to be able to just experience that. And we were Mardi Gras goers. My husband actually was next to the car. Like he was in the car kind of waiting, like outside the car with his elbow on.
Yeah, just hanging, leaning against it. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, you only see him, like you literally have to take your remote and go like pause, pause, pause to see a man leaning against the car with this jester hat on.
That's funny.
And you only see him from the back, but I know who it is because we were there together. So yeah, I didn't make the cut. I was a Mardi Gras woman, woohooing out there with some friends of ours. But it was a fun experience. I got to see Nick Cage. I stayed kind of away from him because I'm too starstruck. And he was super, super nice to everybody. Going around talking to people, giving autographs, taking pictures with people on the sides in between takes. But a lot of fun. But, it's just funny when you see movies, like when you actually see the movie, you're like, he really looks like he's running through this parade situation.
Yeah. Isn't that weird? I was in Hungary for a while. My ex-husband, we were stationed there for a bit with the embassy. And Arnold Schwarzenegger made a movie there. They made a movie there, his company. And he was naked through part of it. So we were watching him live do this part of this movie, but he was naked, which we did not anticipate. One of my coworkers, who was an older woman, was very shocked. But I think it's called Red. It's called Red something. I'll have to look it up and then tell you guys if you want to watch it. But I was sitting on the sidelines watching them film this movie.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool to see productions, and it's also cool to be a part of it as well.
Yeah.
That's all my background. My background's drama and communications. That's what my degree is originally in. So I took film classes, marketing classes, interned at an advertising agency, worked at one for a little while, worked for WYES, which is a PBS station in New Orleans. So that's all my background. So I like to be able to dabble in it. And in fact, the Mayfair Witches, the next season is going to be shooting soon in New Orleans. And Brett Caballero, who is a casting director, just posted something that look on mycasting.com, mycastingfile.com is I think what it's called, because they're going to be posting for people to, actors, background workers and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, I might check my schedule and see what's up, and maybe I could be a witch.
I think you could, and I loved that series, so I would love it if you got a part in that.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. I got to do some scenes for Treme, but I end up on the cutting room floor all the time. I'm like, I've never seen. But you know what? It doesn't matter if you're seen or not. You still get paid.
You get paid, and you get to tell people about the experience.
That's right. Exactly. So let's see who's in our chat. We have Alicia. Hello, Alicia. Glad you are here. And we have Kelsey. Kelsey, she's having her first king cake today. And guess what? Kelsey, I hope you're still here because it is her birthday today. I have to sing to her. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kelsey. Happy birthday to you. Mwah! Yay. On our first day of the Mardi Gras Readathon. And your birthday fell on it. Woo! Yay. I'm so excited. Yes, she is also New Orleans, and we'll probably be taking in some, maybe some parades. I don't know if she goes every year, but maybe so. Hello, Stormy. How are you? Loving the hat. Thank you. I was a little debating on if I should wear this hat or not, but I don't know. It's kind of growing
It's
on me.
perfect. I think it's perfect. Yeah.
Nicole, welcome. Nicole, how are you? How are you? Hello, Helco. Helco is my kindred spirit, Laurie, just to let you
Oh,
know.
that's so
And
sweet.
Alicia's telling Laurie
Yeah.
hello.
See, I've
Yeah.
been commenting too, so I don't know if you can see mine, but yeah, see, I just been talking away. I love talking to people.
Yay. And we have Nicole. It's nice to meet you. Yes, people. Y'all need to make sure that y'all are subscribed to Laurie's channel, Books, Ink, and Paper. She was so gracious to invite me to be a part of her readathon because this is her brainchild. She,
Wow.
had her
For
first
1
one.
year. Yeah.
Well, so what? It's your brainchild, and she did it last year. And because we have a
Yeah.
lot in common, especially Mardi Gras in New Orleans, and just
Yeah.
reading and all of that, she graciously invited me. I'm so excited.
I'm
Hey,
sure.
Berna, how are
Love Burma.
you? Oh, Kelsey thinks my cat is cute. And you're being a Dr. Seuss.
That's right.
Oh, yay. Halco saying happy birthday to Kelsey.
Yay.
Hello to everyone in the chat from Nicole. Thank you from Kelsey. Woo, Kelsey, you getting the love in the chat. Getting the
Yeah.
love. Hello, Anita. Hello. Anita is a writer, Laurie. I don't know if you know her.
Oh, I
She just
don't.
published recently a book that is kind of fairy tale-ish. I need to get it because I'm doing my folklore February. So AF Stewart is her name.
Yeah. Okay.
And you might want to check her out.
Will. Absolutely.
Hello, Zach. How are you? Great timing. Just got in from shoveling snow. Cat's channel is working good. Very good. Thank you. Hello, Tammy. Tammy and I just connected
Oh, good.
just recently. Yes,
So
I'm
good.
very, very excited.
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's one of your OGs.
Yeah.
Vanessa. Hello, Vanessa. It's been a little while. I hope you're doing well. On your end, it's all good, Kat. Good. Woohoo. I love trying these things. I
I
can't see you
know.
in Laurie's channel too.
She
Oh,
can.
I can see you in
She
Laurie's channel.
can.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just can't read. What can I
That's
say?
all right.
-8.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Poor Zach.
Where is Zach from?
I
Where are
don't
you from,
know.
Zach?
Probably Chicago. No, I don't know.
Let us know, Zach, where you are from, if you don't mind. I mean,
Yeah.
your whereabouts. You don't have to give me your exact address.
Right.
I promise I won't stalk you.
That's right.
Yes, and we're about to get cold weather here. Supposedly, I've been hearing temperatures as low as 17
I
degrees
heard
on
that the other day
Tuesday.
too.
Not sure, but then I'm seeing like 20 something, which is still
Yeah.
cold. But
Cold.
look,
Yeah.
30 and 40s, even 50 sometimes feels too cold for me. Thank
Yeah.
you, Halco. I had another hat, but the other hat is kind of like a cowboy hat. It must have been what I wore for that because my husband wore this, but it's really stiff and weird. And my husband's like, it looks a little dusty. And I'm like, I said, well, probably because I haven't worn it in a million years and it's been on the floor of my closet.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know. It's
I know.
amazing in anything. It looks normal in my closet.
Exactly.
Tammy's reading Death on Eat Street by J.J. Cook for the readathon. That
Never
sounds
heard of
good.
that. Yeah, it does.
Hello, Mike. How are you? And bravo. She's saying bravo for my singing. Lori, I love to sing. I'm just going to let
I
you
know. I
know.
do too. I do too.
I
I'm
love it.
excited when you sing. Yeah.
I love it. I can't help it. It's one of the things I was so excited because Kelsey put in her nostalgiathon last year for you to sing like a song from like the 80s or 90s or whatever. So excited. I picked Violent Femmes. And then after I was singing, I was like, I can only sing the first verse because the second one is kind of racy. I want to be at least PG-13 on my channel.
Yeah, you got it. I know. I love that channel name, Swamp Gas 76. Somebody has to tell me, whoever you are, tell me what made you name your channel or name your account that, because I love it.
Okay, Swamp Gas, you have to say now. Swamp Gas is from New Orleans area also.
Well, I wondered, yeah.
And whenever I think about him, whenever Swamp Gas comes on, the thought that comes to my mind is Man Shack, because a lot of times when I'm driving through Man Shack, it smells like swamp gas.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. My youngest lives in New Orleans, so. I
You
enjoy
are welcome, Kelsey. I hope that you have a wonderful birthday. I wish I could be there celebrating with
I
you.
know.
And I'm so excited you're both co-hosting
Oh, thank
together. Me
you.
too. We're very excited about this. I think since this has worked out so well so far,
Yeah.
I don't want to jinx myself, knock on real wood that everything goes well. But this will not be the last. I mean, obviously, we have a show that's going to be scheduled on Mardi Gras Day
We
to talk
do.
about our group read, and very excited about that. I still have to get my book. I'm hoping that when I go to the Friends of the Library store next Friday, they'll have a copy there for me.
Yeah, I
Did
got
you? And you
mine.
got your copy?
And
Oh,
look,
look, you
mine
got a
is
nice
a
one.
different cover than some of them have been. So I was excited when I saw this cover because it has the New Orleans police badge on it. Isn't that funny?
It is. There's something like 3 or 4 different
There's
covers.
a lot of different ones. Yeah, I was surprised to see how many she had, but she's been writing for a long time.
Oh, Halko, sub to your
Thank you,
channel.
Marco.
Woohoo.
Thank
Happy to
you.
catch the live. Beth, you are a Laurie fan. Is this a Laurie fan?
I don't know. Maybe. Yes, it is. Beth is. Yes, I just saw her face. Yes, yes, yes. Hi,
And
Beth.
spooky little book nerd. Hello, hello. I love
Yeah,
all these new
yeah.
peeps in here.
Oh, Zach.
Colorado, near where The Shining took place.
Oh,
Oh my goodness.
I always want to go
Zach,
there.
how awesome is that?
Yeah.
I visited the Stanley Hotel. I'd like to go stay there.
Yeah, I
Mm.
would like to. My friends just went on a tour there. It looks so fun. I
It
need to.
is really neat. We actually went into the room that Stephen King wrote in,
Oh, wow.
because he stayed there. That's how he got his inspiration to write his
Yeah.
story there. So, yeah, we've got to go into the room and checked it out. Because I don't know if you know, the Stanley Kubrick was shot somewhere else. I think in Washington State, maybe.
Yeah,
I'm
they
not
shot a
100%
bunch of
sure, but the
stuff,
made-for-TV movie with Steven Weber was shot at the Stanley.
which I actually liked better in many ways. I'll
Well,
just say that.
if you want it to be more like the book,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
I agree.
I liked the first one, but I liked the miniseries better.
Mhm.
Or was it a miniseries or was it a movie?
Yeah, it was a miniseries made for television.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So Alicia is making hot and sour soup. You sent me the recipe for that, Alicia, and watching a movie during the first sprints. What movie are you watching? Please let me know. Alicia gave me a fabulous recipe for potato soup.
Oh, nice.
And we made it back in October when I was doing my vlog for Autumn Crow High.
Oh,
And
yeah.
my husband, well, I can't say I made it. My husband cooked. So my husband cooked it and it was delicious. She also sent me the one for hot and sour soup.
I've
So
never had hot and sour soup in my
me either.
so
Me either. But
curious.
yeah, I have some fabulous people that send me recipes that then I ask my husband to make.
That's so nice. That works out so well.
Ah. Swamp Gas is a block off bourbon,
Oh,
bracing himself.
oh,
Ooh.
yeah, I guess so. It's gonna be. Yeah, I haven't been to a parade in the city for many years. There are some here in the where I live that are a little bit less crowded, but they're all
Mhm.
crowded. But the
Yeah,
ones in New Orleans, you really do have to brace yourself to be a parade goer. But it's a good experience.
it is, but I have never been to bourbon or any of that on Mardi Gras Day. I've just always been afraid to do it. My husband has been, and he's like, "You won't like it because of how crowded it is."
Yeah,
Look, I'll be the first to admit that if I'm in Walmart and it's really too crowded, I start
yeah.
getting kind of
I don't
anxious. I'm
like
like,
it
we got to
either.
leave. We got to
Yeah,
hurry up and get through this and leave.
yeah.
I'm kind of like
Same.
that when I go to concerts. Like I love concerts and I will go to a big venue for a concert. But when it gets time, when everybody's pouring out of the concert, like I start getting kind of,
I
ooh,
do
there's too many
too.
people. I feel like I can't breathe.
I do too.
Um, so I don't know. I've been to like Endymion and Bacchus, the big parades like that. But Mardi Gras Day, we used to always go out to Metairie and get August and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
done. Just
I went to Zulu on Mardi Gras Day and I loved it, the actual parade. was great. Although there were some fights, there's some things that happen always, but it took me so long to get home. That was what
Yeah.
I didn't, because my daughter lives in mid city, so it wasn't like it was hard to get to the parade, but getting out of the city, I
Mhm.
couldn't get home till about 8 or 9 o'clock at night. And Zulu's a morning parade. Like, it was a crazy long. I mean, it was fine.
Yeah. It's almost like you would have had to spend the night
I
and then
should
get
have.
up the
Yeah.
next day.
Yes, exactly. I should have. Yeah.
Yeah. That's one of the things that is just hard about Mardi Gras too, is depending on where you go, where you park, and if you're
Yeah.
willing to walk. You see
Yeah.
me, and when you have young children, you want to get a lot closer because you don't want them to have to walk so
Right.
much. But
And in a good
I just
area.
know
On a good, safe area of
you want a
people.
good, safe area, but we
Yeah.
would walk a lot of times just so that we could park somewhere that it would be easier for us to get out.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Hammond does have a parade, and Ponchatoula does too. It's the Crew of Omega is the Hammond parade. And
Mhm.
that's supposed to be, I think, on February 2nd. And I
Oh,
think
good.
the Ponchatoula might be February 3rd. But I told my husband, I'm like, we haven't been to a parade in a little bit. I said, maybe we could catch, if it's nice weather. If it's freezing or if it's
Yeah,
raining,
that's
I'm
the
not
other
going to
thing.
be there. I'm
It's
just telling
cold.
you. I
Oof.
don't go do
Yeah.
anything out in the cold or
No.
the rain for anything. Like, I
No.
love Rush. They're my most fantastic group ever. I
Yeah.
love them so much. And
Yeah.
I don't even know if I could go see them outside.
Yeah. I know. It's a
I'm kind of a
commitment.
weenie. I
Yeah.
don't want to be like uncomfortable in the heat
No.
or in like
With
really
all
cold
the
temps or
people and
rain.
yeah. Yeah. It's a lot. It's a lot.
But anyway, so I think if we can, we might try to go just because we haven't been in a while. I think it would be fun since we're doing this readathon to just, and maybe I could get some B-roll or whatever. And
Yeah, I might do that too, but probably I'll stay here. I'm not going to Muses this year. I just can't. I'm not ready for it. But I do think I'm going to go to some locally, and
yeah,
they'll be easy, kind of like baby parades. Oh,
that's
nobody.
okay. A
Yeah,
baby parade still
they
counts.
still count. That's right. That's right.
We'll be watching Baby Driver. I've never seen it. I hope you like the soup if your husband makes it. It's so
Me
good. I forgot
too.
I sent you the recipe. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get him to look at it and see about making that sometime soon. That would be good, but especially since we're gonna have cool weather for a little
Yeah,
bit.
I was thinking the same thing.
Cool
Well,
Gamer, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello. And Storm is telling Cool Gamer hello as well. So, anything you would like to say to our folks in the chat before we go to our first sprint?
the only thing I'm going to say is if you watched my TBR, and you all know me who follow me, I don't do well with a TBR because I get like a little stomp in my foot child like way. But I am going to finish or try to finish today. I added this one at the last minute because I started it the other day. So there's no cheating in readathons, right? There's no cheating. I'm cheating because I had already started it, but I want to finish it. And
Mhm.
it actually has a party at the beginning, which is when things go awry. And it has a crew of women who are like this club. They're called the Lambs, I think, LAMB.
Yes, I think that's what you told me, the lambs.
And they are kind of like, they were fans of this author who is having this event, and they are trying to solve the mystery. So Molly the Maid, if you've not read the first one, is called The Maid. So I really am enjoying it. It's very light. A lot of people don't like these, but I really have liked it. So
Mhm.
I'm going to continue with it. So see how that goes. So I didn't get to put that on my channel. I didn't realize I could do that earlier. And then I tried to do it and it doesn't show up on my end. So I don't know that it tells you what I'm reading. So I just wanted you all to know what I was reading. Hi, Books with Nola.
Yes. Oh, yes. Let's see. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah.
She has joined our readathon. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I'm reading The Little French Bistro by Nina George.
Yeah.
This is a first one for me. I've been looking for the Little Paris Bookshop, but I haven't been able to get a copy used or anything. So I may end up having to just buy it somewhere. But I got this actually in the bargain section of Books A Million a couple of years ago or whatever. So it wasn't super expensive, but I'm looking forward to reading something a little more lighthearted.
Yeah, me
I mean,
too.
just because I'm coming off a winter wean and I read All Horror.
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
that horror and dark fantasy, because I kind of feel like Slewfoot is more dark fantasy to me than like pure horror like The Shuddering was.
Yeah.
But yeah, I need something to kind of like do a little palate cleanse of sorts before I jump in, because I almost thought about doing the Christopher Rice book first.
Yeah.
But I said, no, let me go ahead and do something a little light, and then we'll
I felt the same way because I first read Razorblade Tears this year, and then I read Falling. I listened to Falling, which is about a plane crash. So
uh-huh.
I needed something light. Yeah. So
Yeah. So Nicole is saying hello, hellos, and highs. Lori, will you still be filming your Q&A video?
yes, I am. I've been thinking about that for the last 2 months. So you must have been in my head. I am. So if you all have questions you want to ask me, I'm going to do a Q&A. Ask me almost anything because there's certain things I won't answer. But I do. I have a few questions that people ask me at the beginning. I didn't have as many, I think, as I wanted, so I didn't film it for a while. And then I just, I'm not the most accountable booktuber, but I try.
Tammy's going to hold you accountable.
Yeah, she is.
And we have more hellos and highs. Nice to stretch the prompt. I started at midnight on my audiobook. Excellent. I love how you say horror, Cat.
That New Orleans.
You're not the only person. Andrew from McCain from the Page says I say horror weird, so I don't know.
Everybody in New Orleans says it. If they're from New Orleans or Louisiana, that's how everybody says it. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so. Hello, and Stormy's telling Nicole hello. So we have a lot of hellos and highs. So we're going to go ahead and jump into our first sprint. And of course, one thing I didn't do was I didn't get my Pomodoro kitty because I was too busy trying to make sure we were doing good with all of our stuff. Let me just set this up really quick. Let me see if we can get a purple background. Oh, yeah, purple background. Maybe we could change the colors. We'll see. So purple background. Let's do 30 minutes for the first sprint, if y'all are okay with that. Are you okay with that, Lori?
Yeah, that's great. I'm good with whatever you choose. You're the person that does this.
Yeah, but I like to give choice. So we'll
Yeah.
go ahead and start with 30. And just remember, Lori, when you go off, you'll see buttons at the bottom that you can mute yourself.
I saw that. Yeah, I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So you can mute yourself or stop the camera if you want to go off, or whatever you want to do. That's up to you. And then we will get back to the comments when we get back. So happy reading, everyone.
Happy reading.
Okay, we are back. Woohoo! Turn off my heater. Did not know how loud it would be. So, how did you do, Laurie?
I did pretty well. I am at page 221. So I only have about, I don't know, I'm terrible at math, but 50 pages maybe left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you'll definitely finish during sprints today.
Well, yeah, it's very similar to the first one in the pacing and the plotting. That there's this, and then there's lots of fun and kind of just campy little lines and expressions and ways that she's Molly, she's who she is, and then something a little dark happens, and then you're back to the kind of So I'm in the dark part now.
Ah.
Yeah.
Well, I only read the first chapter of my book because I started it, and then, of course, I get sidetracked with other things. I had started editing my vlog today that I did for Winterween, so I went and looked at that for a second, and then I'm like, okay, stop. You just need to read, focus on one thing at a time. But I did go make myself some coffee. My husband did get me some Mardi Gras. It's Mardi Gras king cake.
Yay. That's a good one. I've had that one before. Yeah.
So, and I don't have any Mardi Gras mugs, so I had to go with my purple Nightmare
purple.
Before Christmas mug.
Yeah. Well, I didn't have mine either because all of my stuff is still in storage, but I brought my Rose Apothecary Schitt's Creek mug today.
Oh my goodness, I love Schitt's Creek.
Me too.
It is the most fantastic show.
Me
And
too.
my son Andrew and I had planned to watch it together. My hairdresser had told me about it. And so I told Andrew about it. We were going to watch it together. We used to always like to watch a show together when he was home.
Yeah.
And he actually started before me. So I was like, well, let me catch up. So I went ahead and I watched first episode. And I'm like, Andrew, I don't know if I'm going to like this show. And he's like, no, Mom, I'll give it a chance. Give it a chance. Don't give up yet. And so then we ended up getting, catching up to each other whenever we did. But I ended up loving it. I was like, oh my God, if I would have abandoned it, I wouldn't have had all this wonderful goodness.
We did too. We all watched it as a family too, although my son and daughter-in-law started it first. And same thing. He said, don't give up. Just keep on going till about toward the end of season 1. And he was right. It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was the same for me with The Office. My sister had told me to watch The Office. And I guess I had watched an episode and it really didn't make sense to me because it wasn't like from the beginning. And then when we started, Andrew and I watched that one together. And when we started at the beginning, I'm like, I don't know, this is kind of like weird. It's like slow. I don't really get it. That is one of my favorite shows. In fact, I'm rewatching it so that I can listen to the Office Ladies podcast.
Oh,
and get into all the background and everything.
I've heard that one's good. I need to get to that too.
Oh, it's fantastic.
As a family too. We watched the end episodes together. We watched The West Wing all together. I mean, that's when we all lived together though, so that was easier. But yeah, I love doing that. I love it.
Yeah, to have a common show.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we left here, and Nicole was just telling me my accent was super cute. I appreciate that. And Diane said, I received my copy of New Orleans Morning from Thrift Books today. And Diane and I are actually following each other on Instagram now. And she posted what her book looks like. And that's the one I would like to get just because it's the most Mardi Gras cover. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I just like the way it looks, and she got it from Thrift Books.
I like that one too, but I couldn't find that one.
Yeah,
in a good copy, I guess. I found a couple on Pango that were pretty
well. She did wonderful because her copy looks brand new.
Yeah, good.
And I don't know how the inside is, Diane. I don't know how your inside looks, but the outside it looks like it's practically brand new. So I'm hoping. I can, like I said, I can find it at Friends of the Library. If not, I am going to order it. And I'm hoping either I can get a copy like Diane has, or I can get a copy like yours, Laurie.
Yeah.
Because there's a green one, but the green one is like people at a funeral. And you're just seeing, at first I couldn't tell what it was, but it's the umbrellas, the tops of the umbrellas.
I got mine was new, but I got mine from Barnes & Noble. And I had a bunch of rewards because I'm a premium member now. So I paid for it on the on the front end, but
Right.
I got my rewards cashed in. So that was good.
Joanne is here. What are you guys reading or working on? Well, we are reading. Most of us are reading because we're kicking off the Mardi Gras Readathon.
That's right.
And Laurie had said, I'm so glad you got a copy. Julie Smith is a lovely person. I think it's just neat that you know Julie.
Yeah, she's a lot.
And Nicole's telling Joanne hello and that she's going to be editing a video this round. Yes. Nicole has a channel. I need to check her channel. I've subscribed to her channel and she comes to sprints, but I am so behind on watching videos. It's really pitiful because I'm playing catch up.
Yeah.
Catch up.
I know.
Zach says I'm reading A Restless Truth by Freya Marsk. It's a sapphic romance with a murder mystery on a boat with magic. My first 5-star of the year so far.
Oh, Zach, thank you for that. I'm going to check that out.
This is one of the things I love about sprints too, is finding out all these people. In fact, I always keep my little notebook handy. And I also try to remember who refers me to books because I like to give a shout out if it's a great book. Even if it's not a great book, I'm like, still got to give a shout out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it might just not be for us, but it might be for somebody else. Yeah.
Oh, yes. That's what I say. I mean, really, honestly, in all my time that I've been, I don't know if it's because I'm picky about what I read, but I've only had 1 2-star. I've never had anything below a 2-star, but I've only had one. And it was a book. It was a romance, like this Harlequin kind of type romance. It was a silhouette kind of thing. I read it for Garb Argus. I mean, I knew going in that was probably. And it actually was a pen name for Sandra Brown.
Oh, and do you like Sandra Brown's work?
I have never read anything by Sandra Brown, but my whole thing was Sandra Brown. I recognized the name. I was like, oh my goodness. When I found out it was one of her pen names, I was like, this must have been written before she became Sandra Brown.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe they weren't doing so well, so she changed her name. I don't know.
Oh no. But I hated the men in that novel. I was just like, oh my God, why does this woman, why could she should just punch him in his face.
Yeah. Unlikable characters are hard because I try to separate myself from the unlikability of the characters and the writing when I review, but sometimes you just can't. You just want to throw the book across the room.
I know. So that is the only time, but I'm kind of picky about what I read. But for Garb August, I'm like, I really need to read something that's kind of semi-trashy,
Me too.
So and not go in just always playing it safe. So spooky little book nerd says I'm reading Ice Fields by Thomas Wharton. Very good. Hello, Helen. Hi, everyone from the UK. Welcome from the UK. We appreciate you being here. Yes. Linda's the gamer gal. She plays lots of cool video games.
Good for her.
And you can watch her play those video games. And she's awesome. And she also reads. She joined us for the Nostalgiathon that Kelsey hosted. And then she hung out with me for a live show talking about zombie video games for Zombiethon. So I loved having her as a guest. In fact, that's how we met, was through like the Nostalgiathon and then carried over. So we've been friends ever since.
Yeah.
Joanne is telling Nicole, that sounds cool. How's editing the video going? Hello, Robin. Welcome, welcome. Just joined, but I will be reading on the next sprint, Divine Rivals.
That's on my list to get you fast because I got it last fall and I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, but it seems like a lot of people have been reading it recently.
They have. Actually, Sarah Swan recommended it to me. We got to meet up in DC because she lives near there and I used to live there and I was over there for work. And so we went to a bookstore together. I had dinner with her and her husband and she was pressing books in my hand while we decided, of course, we were going to go to a bookstore. It's so fun to meet booktubers that you love and go to a bookstore with them. I just can't. I mean, it's just like serendipity. But she said, get this one. Well, I assumed she had read it, right? And then the other day she put it on her TBR, so clearly she just heard so much about it because she works at a bookstore. So I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm sure.
Yeah. I mean, I've been trying to feel people out. Another Nicole that was on my sprints the other night was reading it.
Yeah.
And she said it was a 5-star for her. So
good. I'm glad. Yeah, I need to get to that.
Now, Nicole
Oh,
says it's not going good. Just realize I'm going to have to re-record. I'm sorry,
I hate
Nicole.
when
That's a
that
bummer.
happens.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it is.
Shake it off, and then
That's
get back to it.
right. Yeah.
Hello, Anna. Just joined. Love your hat, Cat. Thank you. Thank you. Anna is from Argentina, Laurie.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yay. I have a Rotary student we sponsored years ago who's from Argentina, and I've
That
learned
is
a lot about Argentina.
cool.
Yeah.
Mary Lou just got here. Love the hat. Thank you, Mary Lou. Welcome, welcome. Love the hat. Thank you, Robin. Rebecca says, just joining. I'm trying to finish things we left behind today.
Oh,
That sounds good. The mug is awesome. Yes, that's about as closest to Mardi Gras mugs that I have. I guess
yeah.
I wish I could get a mug for every season. The problem is I don't have shelf
I
space.
don't have the room for all of them. I need to get those trays because I've got them sticking on top of each other, and I'm afraid they're going to fall. And
That's how mine are. Because most of my specialty mugs are Halloween or fall.
yeah, mine too. That's true.
So
Or just everyday regular mugs. Schitt's
So
Creek is the
Rebecca's like us. Schitt's Creek
yes.
is the best. I
It
love it.
is really so good, and I love Ted Lasso too.
Oh, I haven't ever
Oh,
watched that.
oh, Ted Lasso's good. The Fold and the Cheese is all of our favorites. How do
Yes,
you
I agree, Beth. That is hilarious. The whole dynamics of the whole
uh,
entire cast. And when Schitt's Creek came out, when you watched it, like you could online, you could go and look at some of their like table discussions after.
yes, I
And I
love
just thought that was so fun how they kind of talked about,
yeah.
different scenes they had together. And I loved that it's family, like the
Yeah,
family.
me too. And we used to watch before Schitt's Creek. We watched their movies that they had all kind of done. There was an ensemble, and a lot of them did the same movies over and over again. One is called Best in Show, and it's about a dog show. And so the woman that plays, oh gosh, what's her name? Moira.
Moira.
The woman who plays Moira in the show, in the Best in Show movie, she's showing her little terrier, and she's married to him in that movie as well. And so just having watched all those movies all these years, there's tons of them and they're so good. I actually also recently, this is not as funny for sure, although it has some funny moments. Good Grief is on Netflix. And what's his name? The one who plays David.
Daniel Levy.
Yes, Daniel Levy. I'm terrible at names in the moment. He wrote and produced this show on Netflix called Good Grief, and it's about his partner and him, and it's so good.
Okay,
It's
because
so
I have it on my list of
oh,
movies to watch because when I saw that he had a
yeah,
movie, because I believe he directed it or
he did.
produced
He did
it and then he acted
everything.
in it.
Yes, he did
So
everything,
I
and
want to
I think
see that
somebody
one.
co-wrote with his family with him. But oh gosh, it's good, you guys. But it's
Yeah.
not
Well,
Schitt's Creek light. It's not that.
no, it's supposed to be very sad.
It's very
Um,
intense, but it was so well done. So well done.
Catherine O'Hara has been one of my favorites ever since
Me
like
too.
Beetlejuice
Yes,
and Home
exactly.
Alone. I
Yes,
just think she's fabulous.
fabulous. Yeah, yeah.
In this sprint, I read a chapter from a
Oh,
book that I
good.
want to finish before starting with my readathon books. Then I did my daily Duolingo exercise in Italian. I am just at the beginning level. So,
I
Berna,
aspire to be Berna.
are you learning Italian because you're going to be traveling to Italy?
Yeah, how fun.
I wish I would have learned some Italian phrases, except for grazie and
Yeah,
prego,
yeah.
because when I went to Sicily, it could have benefited me. Although there were a lot of English speaking people, it was just that sometimes when they
Yeah,
were trying to speak English to you, it was hard to kind of understand because it would kind of like flip
yeah.
flop,
It's
between
tricky.
Italian.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
It is a
cover. It
beautiful
is,
cover.
Diane. It's like new and was $6. You are a lucky duck.
Nice deal.
You got a bargain for
I love
sure.
these deals. Yeah.
Only 4% into an e-arc, The Holy Terrors by Simon
Oh,
R.
yeah.
Green.
Okay. That sounds good.
Stormy, is this adult horror? Is it middle grade horror? Or is it not horror at all?
Yeah, right, it could be. I learned about a book about nuns in outer space the other day that I am so excited about. Let me tell you, I heard about it on Currently Reading podcast.
That is funny.
I added it right away. It's a novella, but I really want to get to it. It's called The Sisters of the Vast Black. Yeah. So, let's see what that's like. I just thought I want to read about nuns in space.
Right. Why not?
Yeah.
I bought the same copy off eBay. It's like new. Oh,
Nice.
wonderful. Yeah, we have Joanne, welcome, and Rebecca. What genres do you like to read?
Nice.
Zach said, I'm curious what you thought of The Shuddering. I gave it 1 star. As someone who lives in the snow, the characters were too dumb with everything possible.
Oh my God.
Well, I gave it more than 1 star. It wasn't a 5 star, but I rated it pretty decently, only because I thought the whole atmosphere and everything. I do agree that some of the things that they did were kind of dumb. Like they made decisions and then they thought about it later and kind of regretted it, but then it was a little too late kind of thing.
Mhm, mhm.
There are a lot of things I personally wouldn't have done myself. First of all, I wouldn't have been in the snow doing that anyway. So
Right. Yeah, I know.
it would not have ever happened to me. But there were parts of it that I liked very much about it, just the atmosphere and everything and the setting. And it was perfect because it was cold here, and the creatures were really awful. They were kind of like these humanoid, kind of, I don't know, furless kind of creatures, but kind of were like in a pack, almost like they were wolves that kind of like
Oh,
humans and wolf like kind of.
yeah. Huh.
The only thing it was at first I was just kind of like a little perplexed about, and I say this all in my vlog that I'm doing, but I was a little perplexed about why these things were happening at this point in time when people had lived in the area for a long period of time and had never seen these creatures kind of thing. But then I just kind of decided, I made up my own little backstory about it. And then I
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, I can be at peace with it.
Yeah.
But wow, a 1 star. Well, Stormy probably would think The Shuddering is boring. So, because it's funny, I'll tell her that I read this really scary book, and she says, "Oh, I thought that was boring."
Yeah. Some people really need a lot to feel like it's scary enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't. Let's put it this way: it wasn't the same caliber as like The Shining or
Right.
Misery, the kind of thing. And I'm really curious because for my 5 star predictions, I picked Stolen Tongues by Felix Blackwell.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm really, looking forward to that one. And I'm hoping it is going to be scary because I have these high expectations for it. The Shuddering, I was kind of like in between on it. It was sort of like I got it because I got it to read for like a wintry. I think it was for Christmas Eve. I might have picked it up because it was set in winter and it had those vibes. But yeah, I mean, she doesn't write on the same caliber as like a Stephen King or it wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it was entertaining. Let's just put it that way to me. I mean,
Yeah.
and then also too, it had an ending that I was at first sad about it, but then I'm like, you're really kind of naive to think otherwise. Like you would have felt ripped off otherwise, kind of, I guess.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I don't know. But like Zach said, I mean, the characters could have done some. I think also too, when the characters kind of really discover what's kind of going on, they're too much in the middle of their own personal drama.
Oh,
And it's almost like if we would have been a little more prepared with it, I guess.
Yeah.
I
love the sort of Freudian slip where he said, or she said, no, Zach, he said, it's everything pissable, and then realized he meant pissable. But that's funny.
It is a reread. I am doing this so I can actually get to Ripley's. I'm doing this so I can actually get to Ripley's.
Yeah.
And Oops Possible. Yeah. Ruthless Vows. Divine Rivals is a 5 star for me as well. Yeah. Divine Rivals, I'm hearing a lot of great stuff about it. And is it because the second one just came out? Do you think a lot of people are picking it up?
No,
Or
because I think when I bought it, I got a lot of people who commented, and even the person at the bookstore that I chose it from was mentioning how it was getting a lot of buzz then, and that was, I think, in September when I went to DC. So I think it's been getting a pretty steady run of. But I think the sequel, much like the the infamous Fourth Wing and then Iron Flame, they came out very close to each other, I think. So I hope that works out for her, because it didn't really work out as well, I would say, for Rebecca Yarros from what I'm hearing, because they say they kind of rushed that second one a little bit and didn't maybe edit it as thoroughly as they could have. I've heard people say.
That's a shame.
It is, and I don't know why they would have. I mean, she had enough hype for that first one that could have carried her for years probably, but I don't know.
In the next sprint, I will have to leave because it is past midnight here in Turkey. Oh, well, thank you for coming.
Good.
We appreciate you hanging out.
Exactly.
I heard. Oh, go ahead. Laura said, I heard about the Nun's book too. Looking forward to that one for sure.
It sounds great. I mean, it's not funny necessarily at all. It just sounds like it, right? Nuns in space, but because there was a sitcom, or not a sitcom, but a comedy show. They used to do something about nuns and something, but yeah, they do good work in space, and they're going from planet to planet. And Earth is apparently pretty much done, so people don't really live on Earth anymore. They just live in other places. So it's very speculative sci-fi. Yeah, I know.
Adult horror mystery thriller, and I am worried as it doesn't have very good reviews so far. So hope I like it. Ooh, I hope so too. Yeah, because it's adult horror mystery. When will you be reading Stolen Tongues? I probably will read it this month because I still have to read Holly, and I also have to read my Kate DiCamilla book. So I really need to read one of them, and I would rather read it in January. That seems more cold to me. And then with me doing Folklore February, there's no telling what kind of fairy tale books I'm going to be getting up to. So I really would like to read Stolen Tongues, but I'm going to have to really take some good notes on it because my wrap up for 5-star prediction is at the end of February. So it's like, ooh.
Yeah, you got to hurry.
So maybe towards the end of January, Halco, is probably when I'll do it. Did the books for this readathon have to be read at beginning today, or going to be what we were reading before?
It can be whatever you want. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah. I mean, we're not policing this for sure. You know, it's really totally up to you. And I mean, technically the Mardi Gras season started on January the 6th.
Correct.
So
you could have,
if you want to count it from that day that you started. The only reason I didn't start anything a little bit earlier was because I just finished Winterween yesterday, which was a day late because it took me longer to read my Brahm. But yeah, we just want you to participate. We want you to read something fun from the carnival season. So Jackie just finished The Frozen River by Ariel Lawhon.
I think
Lawhon. It was one of the best historical fiction murder mysteries I've ever read. Wow.
Well, that's good to know because I've never read anything by her, but I have friends who have and have gotten that, and I really did not get it. I think it was a book of the month choice, and I didn't get it because I just wasn't sure if I would like it. But now I think Jackie has convinced me that I will.
Do you subscribe to Book of the Month?
I do. Actually, that's where I got this one. Yeah. So I have for a few years now. I don't always get everything, get something every month.
But okay. Well, that's good. Yeah. That you don't have to, like, you can just opt out.
Correct. You can opt out. You can opt out for months and months and months at a time. I don't think they care. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was popular before the second one. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm also reading The Frozen River, hoping to finish today. Highly recommended.
Oh, good, Beth. Thank you.
Stolen Tongues is very creepy. I gave it 5 stars. Oh, well, it's good to know, Beth, because like I said, it was recommended to me to read by one of my friends, my friend Kelsey, who she's hardcore horror. And she said it was like scary. Like, so it might be one of those books I need to read like when it's nighttime and dark. Yeah. That's when I read The Shuddering. It was all dark and cold and stuff.
I love
Sorry for all the questions. Went to let Okay, sorry for all the questions. Went to let day for the readathon. Just say my stupid phone being a butt. What is the last day?
What is the last day for the readathon? Oh, February 13th, Mardi Gras Day.
Mardi Gras Day, February 13th. So
Right.
you technically have what, 4 weeks
Yeah.
or a month.
Yeah.
I will be reading First Lie Wins from first to the month
Oh,
afterwards.
I
Okay.
haven't heard of that
Cool,
either.
cool, cool. I have no plans to visit Italy in the near future, but maybe it is meant to be. Maybe so.
Yeah, I think you should go.
Yeah, I only was in Rome for a day,
Oh yeah,
but
it's a
I got
lot.
to I
Italy's a
got to
lot.
see I got to see St. Peter's Basilica, which I was like, if I'm gonna be there, I can go to Vatican City
Yeah,
and
exactly.
see that. That was well worth it. And I mailed my postcards from the
It's
Vatican
good.
City
Yeah,
post office, which is like this trailer.
yeah, I heard
It's like
that
a
it is. I
portable
haven't done
build,
it.
a little
Yeah.
portable building. And I was kind of worried because the mailbox was so like rinky dinky.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's
But
funny.
yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
Okay, so let's go ahead and start another sprint. What do you want to do, Lori? 30 minutes is good for
let's
you?
try. Yeah, 30 minutes is
Okay.
good. I think that's a good. Then people can kind of get up and walk around a little bit.
Okay, so let me.
Oh wow! Look what Diane has. The Kingdom of Zydeco. Perfect for Mardi Gras Readathon.
Woo.
That's fun.
Yeah, very good. So nonfiction. Yeah, I remember her saying that she was going to do a nonfiction book. Yeah.
Good. That's a
The
good one too.
Kingdom of Zydeco. That is perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our timer up here.
All right.
And happy sprinting, everyone.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. So how did you do, Laurie?
I'm on page 261 and the end is 286. So I'm so
Ooh,
close.
you are very, very close. Very, very close. And still
Yeah,
good? Is it still good?
it is. Yeah, it's a very unique. Um, she's very unique. This character, this whole situation. Yeah, I find it very fascinating.
Yeah, I read a little more and then I realized that I needed to update my Goodreads and put it on there. I made it to chapter 6. I feel so bad for this woman who is the main character. I don't know if you've ever read this book.
I have
Um,
not.
but first of all, I didn't realize that Nina George is German, that this is actually a translated book.
No
It
kidding.
was originally published in German,
Huh.
and so that's pretty neat. Learn
Yeah.
that. But the main character, Mary Ann, is like in a loveless marriage. She's been married like for 41 years to this guy who sounds absolutely awful. I'm like, how did they even get together? I mean, she
Yeah.
was young, she was like 19. But what I'm kind of thinking, I don't know if they'll ever explain it. I'm kind of thinking her mom was kind of awful and bitter too. So maybe
Oh
she
yeah.
married him to get out of the home.
Or you think too sometimes, I say you think like, but people do marry sometimes people that remind them of terrible people, but they think the outcome will be different and better.
Yeah, maybe so,
Not
but
usually.
he's awful. He's
Yeah,
awful,
yeah.
awful, and she just wants to get away. She can't take it anymore. They happen to be
Ugh.
in Paris for some reason, and she decides to kill herself and
Oh
by
God.
jumping into the Seine, and she thinks she's dead. It's not funny, but it is kind of funny
No.
because she thinks
Yeah.
she's dead, and what it is she thinks that death is like kissing her, and it's really somebody giving her mouth to mouth.
Oh my gosh, how
So
funny.
anyway, she's just at the point that she's just going to try to run away from this life or whatever. So I'm like, kudos to you, girl. I mean, that you've been
Yeah,
married for 41 years. Your husband is an absolute an ass hat,
yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah.
And I hope she's going to find a lot of happiness.
I hope
'Cause
so too.
it's,
I may have to get that.
well, she's mad because she was mad because the guy went in and she was like, why would you do that? Why would you take away my choice to kill myself?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Huh.
I mean, I'm not making light of it, but I'm just like, this poor woman was that desperate. And then
Yeah.
all these people are trying to save her. And of course, they think she's cuckoo crazy. They just don't know that she was married to this lousy
With this
man, you
crazy
know?
man, yeah. Well, I hope it has a good ending for you.
I hope so. I hope so too. I'm hoping it's going to be one of these things where, it comes out that she is able to at least get some of her life, her next chapter,
Yeah,
because she's already wasted 41 years of it on this, marriage, not having any dreams of her own and stuff like that.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
I do.
you hate for people to have, not have the opportunity to like have a second half, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, that's where my book is leading. I'm enjoying it. It's intriguing. It's well written. I'm
Yeah.
really like the writing style, and
I feel like I was gonna look. I feel like I read something by her. Let me see. Or maybe I put it on the
she's written quite a few books. Like her bio on Goodreads says, I think 26 books, and she was a reporter, so she's written like 600 columns. And but this, I was always would see the little Paris bookshop a
that's
lot
the
of
one I
times, and I
marked as
just never
must
picked it
read.
up because I didn't know. It just always seemed intriguing. So I picked this one up. Like I said, I got it at the bargain
Yeah.
section.
Yeah, she has a
So
lot of
let's,
German books.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. She's German and it's in
Yeah,
German. So I guess maybe not all of her books are translated in English.
that is
Maybe
apparently
it's just these two.
yeah, maybe.
So let's see what everybody else got up to. Mary Lou said, where can I find the prompts? I was late.
Oh, yeah.
And Diane helped her out. They have
Oh,
them listed
good. Thank you, Diane.
in the announcement videos. Thank you, Diane. Appreciate that. And she thanks Diane too. Hello, Chris. How are you today? And Nicole's back and she started editing again. I'm glad you were able to get that taken care of. Coda! Hello, hello, Coda. How are you? Froggy! Woo woot. Frog is in the house. Happy belated birthday, Kat. Thank you, Froggy. Froggy's birthday was on the 10th. Mine was the 11th, and Kelsey's is on the 13th. A lot of January birthdays.
That's so funny.
I know a bunch of people in January. My oldest son made 35 on the 1st of January, and then my sister's on the 31st. So, and I have plenty of friends that are in January. Molly says, hey, everyone, jumping on a little late.
I'm glad you're here.
You're on time. You're not late, you're on time. And hellos, Dakota. Happy Mardi Gras Readathon. Thank you, Courtney. Thank you. And Robin made it to 299 out of 357. Not bad. Very good. Robin wants to know how my mom's doing. She was doing really well. I went to see her on Thursday and brought her some, it was kind of like a dual thing. I went to Crumble Cookie to get myself a cookie.
I love those.
But I decided I was going to share. So I got Crumble Cookies and went to see my mom, spent a few hours with her. She's doing well. She's in rehab and she's walking some. She's able to get up and go to the bathroom, and just the rehab, the physical therapist says that she's doing really well, that she's strong. So I'm hoping that maybe she'll get home before the end of the month. That's all we can do is hope. Thanks for asking, Robin. And Nicole's telling Courtney, hello, how's your day? Day is good. How are you? And of course, Coda's saying highs. And Zach got to 51%. Speaking of not knowing something important, A Restless Truth is a sequel. I haven't read the first one, but I don't think that has hurt it.
Well,
I don't mean to laugh, Zach. I don't.
I know it's like, okay, because you want to be kind. Not that Zach's not being kind, but yeah, I was trying. So I'm curious, Zach, how did you find out it was a sequel?
Yeah, I'd like to know what happened. How do you know this? Because a lot of times, it depends on what the well, I'm going to just tell you something too, Zach. I had a friend give me a Patricia Cornwell book. It was Point of Origin. So it was not the first one. No. And I asked him specifically, do I have to read these in order? Because sometimes when you get into a series of books, there's history, like there's an ongoing story that, the character growth arc and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got whatever the murder or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, no, you can do it. It's this one thing.
No,
well,
wrong.
That is not the truth, because in Patricia Cornwell's Case Scarpetta series, and that's what this was, there are situations that happen with some of these cases that come back. Like killers don't get caught, and past history rears its ugly head and all that kind of stuff. So I read this book and I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, okay, so I started from the beginning. Well, I was like, people that were not in that book or in that book or whatever the case may be are like alive in the first book. So you're like, okay, so how do we get to this?
That's what I was thinking. Yeah, because I did start hers years ago. I think isn't this ironic? I think it was when I first moved here to the South, and I started reading them and I really liked them. And then I don't know, for whatever reason, there's so many of them. So I am collecting them again and want to start over, I think.
It's 27 because I read 25 when I went to Sicily.
Yeah.
And then 26 is Livid. And I want to say there's another book after Livid.
Oh, gosh.
And I didn't think I thought she was going to stop before Autopsy.
I thought she was too. And she did not stop. No.
She did not. So the only thing I had looked back on my Goodreads to see, and I think it was like 3 years since the last one that I had read. So I'm like, I hope I can remember well enough.
Yeah.
But I don't, because I can't start from the beginning, but it was okay. There was some things I was kind of like, okay, it's okay. Because she moved from one area back to this area. So it was sort of like, and then they made reference to some things, but I was glad to get back to it. to get back into her world, because she's one of my favorite literary characters. Case Garpetta.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
I
her.
liked her too. I like that character, and they got much better as she went along too. I remember the first one. I reread the first one last year. Yeah, last year, and I was like, oh, I think, yeah, this you can kind of tell now that if you've read other ones that was their first one, but they did definitely. They kept me enthralled, and then when Katrina hit and I lost all my books, I think is when I stopped
Mm.
series, because I was just like, seriously, I don't want to. But I think I'm ready to start again.
So I'm not going to ask you too much about Katrina, because I know that's a horrible topic for a lot of people.
It was rough,
Um,
but
where were you living? Were you in the heart of the city?
we were in Diamond Head, which was interesting because it's a subdivision near Bay St. Louis. So we were on the west coast of the state, almost to the end of the state line, and Diamond Head, in terms of um, the raised land in that area and the access to water. I mean, there's a bayou, but essentially there's not a lot of water there. But what happened was it was just so
Mm.
intense that it came. So it came from the bayou, it came from a lake, it came from, and so we had 5 feet. We had a brick house.
Oh,
So
wow.
that was good, because after that, when we lived in another house, when we moved, we did not. We had, it was one of those raised. We weren't raised up like some people are, but we were raised a good bit, and it was an old house, and we would have been wiped out. But we got 5 feet of water about in the house, and so it just took everything. The only thing we had left was the stuff in the attic, and we didn't care about any of that stuff.
Oh, of
The
course.
stuff in the attic that you're never gonna probably,
I
yeah.
know, I
So
felt so bad. I mean, for anybody that was hit. I mean, a lot of my friends,
I was gonna say,
and
did you get
people.
hit by it too?
Well, I lived in Hammond, and so
Mm.
I mean, we had the wind and we had rain,
Oh,
but
sure, but not
we
the
did not have anything. Now,
yeah.
Ida hit us worse,
I was gonna
than
say, Ida got you
Katrina
guys.
did.
Yeah, yeah.
And but the only thing that happened was we were out on the porch, just sitting out there, and we watched our neighbor on one side of me. Her tree just totally just
Yeah,
uprooted and fell over. And we just sat there and watched it. So they were in Arkansas. They had evacuated, and they finally got in touch with us because we had no phone service. We had actually gone to
no,
Baton Rouge because we were
yeah,
out of electricity. My Andrew was young at the time. I want to say he must have been in pre-K. I think he was
oh,
in pre-K,
yeah,
and he got really sick because of not having the electricity, just the
yeah, yeah.
humidity and everything,
Oh, it
and
was so
his
tough.
sinuses. It was
Yeah,
awful. So we went. A friend of mine lived in Baton Rouge, and he had just went to act a sale on his house like a couple of days before,
I hate that.
and it was a condo. So he still had his apartment and he had his condo, and we had gone out to dinner with him and to celebrate and everything. And so
Yeah,
when it hit and we finally could get in touch with us, he's like, "Hey, why don't you come?" He's like, you can camp out with me." So we did, just to give Andrew some relief until we could get him to the doctor.
yeah.
But we didn't know the devastation until we got to Baton Rouge and
That's the worst.
we
Yeah,
could see the video, all the
yeah.
news. I'm telling you, I cried, Lori.
It's
I was just like,
terrible. I
"Oh
know.
my
I
goodness."
know. And that's how we knew we had evacuated, and we were
Mm.
watching the news, and our neighbor was a newscaster on our local TV channel, and her mother lived across the street from us. And she said, "My mother's house is flooded so much so that she's on the second floor." And I
Ugh,
thought, oh, we knew that.
yeah.
We
And
knew.
my poor cousin, she lived in Ocean Springs.
Oh
She and
yeah.
her husband had just built their house,
Oh
and she said when she got back, they had gone Christmas shopping and all this. She had like Christmas stuff
yeah,
even
we did
before.
too.
And
Yeah.
she said she got back and you could tell all where the Christmas presents had floated
Yeah.
out, kind of thing. My friends that were at Channel 12, I was still freelancing at Channel 12. I wasn't working
Mhm.
there full time, but they had told it was a 2-story building out right there near City Park.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
they had told them before they left, unplug all your computers and put them on your desk. Well, how
Yeah.
funny was
Well,
that?
that's
Because
what I
it
did
got all
too.
the way to the second floor. Their
Exactly.
computers had floated all around,
Yeah.
everything. There was so much devastation.
Yeah, the furniture just floated all through the house. Like, we came in, and like, it was just not, I've never seen anything like it, really.
Yeah.
I hope I never do again, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, that was devastating. And I have to say, Ida was pretty devastating for us because we had a tree
Yeah,
land on
it
the
was.
house.
Yeah, yeah,
But and we lost a lot of our trees. I want to say we lost 13 or 14 in our
yeah,
yard. My neighbor next door lost like 40.
yeah, I know.
So and I'm gonna just tell you, we've stayed for both. We don't leave, and I'm glad we didn't because we were able to salvage a lot of everything in Andrew's room.
Yeah,
But the thought to myself about that, it's like he was in his bed when the tree landed on top of the roof on him,
yeah,
not on him, but like where
yeah,
it was to where,
yeah,
he got debris on him. And I just think to myself, thank God my house was built strong enough
yeah,
that it didn't land on him and kill him in his bed, kind
yeah.
of thing. But it hit at night, and that is the scariest thing, to be in a
Oh, they're
hurricane
terrible when they're
with
at
the
night.
wind, listening to your trees cracking and all that stuff. It was so
Yeah,
hard to fall asleep because you're just thinking, I'm waiting for the next one to hit the house.
yeah, I know. I know, and I don't regret evacuating, but we might not. We almost didn't, honestly. We evacuated the Sunday before, and because they closed McDonald's where my youngest was working, and I thought, well, if they've closed the McDonald's, then we're in trouble,
Right,
really.
right.
And then of course we watched the news and it had intensified again. But our neighbors did stay, and they ended up in the attic
Mhm.
clinging for their lives in the attic and hoping that a tree wouldn't. And so the same thing, kind of, they were in the attic and they decided to go down to see how bad it was. Of course it was up to their waists by that point, but then the tree from our yard hit their house.
Oh,
If they had
no.
been in the attic, they would have been crushed. So it, like, there were terrible stories about people who didn't survive, obviously, but there were also stories where you were just like, oh my gosh. And I felt that way with us. Like, I'm so grateful that we did leave. I mean, at
Yeah.
the last minute, we got stuck in Tallahassee in traffic, and my son was like, we may have made a big error in judgment, but we didn't. I think it was better in the end. But you never know. You never know.
You never know. Because I
Yeah,
know a lot of times people evacuate for hurricanes and then they move away and they never hit.
that's
So,
right. We've had that too. Yeah.
yeah. Coda, what?
Yeah.
Robin says, my mom's birthday tomorrow.
Oh,
Woo!
thank
Happy birthday to your mom. Hey, Coda from Froggy. I started reading and have been alternating between a Richard Lehman and Maynard's House today. Wow. How are you liking a Richard Lehman? Is it your first one? I haven't been brave enough to read him. I heard he likes to talk a lot about rumps in his book. In
Yeah.
his books. Kelsey at Slime and Slashes is having a big Richard Lehman
Readathon.
readathon for the whole entire year. It's like her year of layman.
Oh, wow.
Zach says, I'm enjoying the books so much. I looked up more of her books and
Oh,
found out
good.
that way.
That's how I usually do too. Or I don't like them so much, I look up and see. Yeah.
Cat scared me, my heart racing.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
yeah, that little cat, when it speaks, I always jump a little bit too.
Well, that's why a lot of times if I happen to see that it's getting close, I kind of like stop where I'm, and I also don't like to stop in the middle of a chapter. So
Yeah,
it's
I
like,
know.
but it has startled me because I've been so engrossed. And
Yeah.
Zach said, don't worry about laughing at me. I'm not sensitive like that at all.
That
And then Zach swapped streams to hit the like on both. Well, we appreciate that very much, Zach. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, this is kind of new, a new thing that you can do. And I told Laurie, I'm like, if we can figure it out, let's try to do it. That way you'll have it on your channel. And there's some things that the guest can't necessarily do on their end, but if they can have the finished product,
yeah.
I guess,
I'm very grateful, and it's good that I can't do things on my end because I'd probably mess it up.
Well, we're gonna try to get Laurie to start streaming on her channel now
I'll
that
give it a
she's
try.
got her StreamYard and we know that she can do this part of it. The
Yeah,
technical stuff will be easy to learn. I can
hopefully.
guarantee it would be easy to learn. If I can do it, anybody can
Well,
do
that's
it.
what I tell people a lot too. If I can do it, anybody can do it. So, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do another sprint. It'll probably be our last sprint for today because it's
Yeah.
4:13 here.
I
And
know.
Laura and I had decided that we're going to sprint until about 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to my mother-in-law's after this for birthday dinner.
Good.
So yes, we were supposed to go last night, but then my husband's work schedule got changed and he was out of town, so we moved
It
it to
happens.
tonight.
Yeah. We were supposed to have birthday dinner with my granddaughter because she was born on the 12th yesterday too. And then my daughter-in-law texted in the morning and said, "No dinner for us because she has COVID again."
Oh,
So I was sad, but we'll get to it. We'll do it when she's better.
yeah, yeah. You gotta be flexible because things
You do.
happen.
You do. Yeah.
So we will do another 30,
All
and I'm
right.
going to go ahead and put our little ticker taker here so that people know coming in.
I love when you do that too. That's very helpful.
Yeah, I think it does. Sometimes I forget, but I try not to, just so people know.
Thank you, Linda.
Um,
I think my kids probably subscribe to your Gamer Gal channel. I'm going to ask them.
yes, they should check out because Linda plays some really awesome games,
That's
I
cool.
think.
Yeah, my
I
kids.
don't get to catch all of her live streams, but
Yeah,
sometimes I pop in just to watch and see what she's up to. I
yeah.
loved when she played Oregon Trail because that was a
Oh, yeah,
game that
that's
I
good.
played back in
Yeah,
the day.
yeah, me too.
So thank you, Linda, sending those positive vibes.
All right.
Okay, so let me get our kitty set up, started. And I have to talk to myself when I'm doing
That's
this.
all right. I do it too.
Otherwise I'll be sharing a screen that we don't want to see. Okay, happy sprinting, everyone. Hello, hello.
Hello.
How did you do?
I
Did you
finished.
finish?
I finished the
Yay!
Yep, and then I read the first chapter of this, which is one of my ones for the music prompt. So it's very compelling. And I just noticed it's a GMA book club pick. So
Oh, awesome.
that's good or not. But yeah, so far. And then I think I'm going to read a chapter of this and then in a few minutes, and then I'll decide which one I'm going to start with next. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea to pick what you want to do next.
Yeah.
So, are you going to tell us what you're going to rate your book, or you need to
I
sit with
can't.
it?
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna give it. I gave the Maid 5 stars, and I think I'm gonna give this one 5 stars too. This is not. I'm rating it based on the enjoyability. It has some challenges, I would think, in the sense of the depth of it, sort of flowing from like I don't know, kind of almost like people wouldn't really speak like that to. Oh my gosh, this is dark, right? Like it's very odd, but I really just liked it, and it paced well, and it wrapped up well, and it had a kind of a lot of twists and turns, and so I enjoyed it a lot. And so I looked to see what I gave the first one, and I gave it 5 stars. So I gave the second one 5 stars too.
Oh, well,
It's
that's
very
good.
similar, yeah, yeah, very similar, very crisp and easy. Oh, good. Jamie's reading the Violin Conspiracy as well. That first chapter is really like, whoa, you're off.
Well, very good. I'm glad that we have some people reading the same things.
Yeah.
I only got to chapter 8, which I'm making
Good.
progress with
Yeah.
it. But I have to say, I really do like the character of Mary Ann, and she's trying to make her way to this. She gets a tile from the hospital she ended up she ended up in, and it's like a little town, like in Brittany on
Oh
the
yeah.
coast, and she decides that's where she wants to run away to or whatever. Now her plan is once she gets there, who knows, but
Yeah.
I like the fact that she's being brave enough to take
Yeah.
this, and just go with the flow. But I'm liking it. I mean, I think it's going to be really good. It's the kind of book that I could, if I had the time, I could get lost in it for an hour or two
Yeah.
and read,
Yeah.
really, because the chapters are not super long,
Right. Yeah.
and she's meeting people along the way. It's kind of sad. You're learning about things that she missed out in her life,
Yeah.
and I think a
Yeah.
lot of things that that I don't know about you, but like sometimes, like, I take a lot of things for granted, or like I think, oh, my
Yeah.
life could have been this or that or whatever. But then when I think about it, it's like
Yeah.
I've experienced a lot of things that some people never have experienced. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
I
So
do. Yeah.
in that respect, like sometimes it's okay, like if your life seems kind of ordinary instead of like grandiose or whatever the case may be. I don't know.
Yeah. I
But
think that's true.
it
Yeah.
it gives you time to reflect on yourself. That's what I kind of like about this, when you can kind of connect and with a character, and you can kind of feel like, I think I've been in your shoes, not necessarily literally, but
Yeah.
just, I can kind of see her feelings, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
I
about why
do.
she feels that loss.
Yeah. Yeah. It's tricky. And I've had some crappy things happen in my life for sure, no doubt. But I realized one day as I got older that everything that's ever happened to me, no matter how difficult it was at the time, led me to another choice or to another place or led me to something else, that worked out in the way that it needed to, and that was really very positive and very good. So I think it's hard in the moment, but it does typically get to where you can say, okay, I'm all right. Everything's all right.
Right. Yeah,
It's
I
amazing.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. You're exactly where you're supposed to be, I guess.
Exactly. I think you're right. Yeah, I believe that. Very true.
So Alicia said, I missed most of the sprints, but back for the last one. Alicia,
Yay.
if you're still here, how did you like Baby Driver? You were cooking your
Yeah,
soup
I'm
and you
curious
were
about
watching Baby
this.
Driver. How was that?
Mhm.
Queen Victoria is here and says, hello, friends.
Very nice. Hello.
And Froggy was saying that this is her first layman. There are lots of rumps and other sexual moments in it, but it reads very quick. I'm just ignoring the rumps and enjoying it.
Very.
Yeah. Kelsey always tells me that Richard Lehman is not for me because
Oh,
there's certain things in reading that I'm just like, you know what, I can't stomach this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I
It's
get it.
like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, so it's, I don't know. It's crazy. Some things I'm okay with depending on what the setting is, and I can kind of like process it. And then other things I'm like, are you just doing this for shock value?
Yeah,
I'm not here for shock value.
yeah. I know it's hard to.
Or because you think you can get away with it. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So Queen Victoria wanted to know what everyone was reading. I just popped in and just said I was reading The Little French Bistro. It is for the prompt of read a book set in France.
Yeah.
And Robin finished her book.
Yay!
Yay! Love that. Love that. Now you got to pick a new one.
Oh,
The thing about it is sometimes you can get a, you know, like it's hard to pick your next book if you've just finished a really good book
yeah,
or a book that lingers for a little
yeah,
bit.
yeah. That's what I was thinking. Could I go straight into something else with after this? I probably could after the mystery guest. Maybe not after the violin conspiracy though, because it may be very intense. But hard to say. It's hard to say.
Froggy said, unsuccessfully trying to get my dog to cuddle with me that sprint. Aw.
That happens.
Yay, everyone's finishing their books. I know. That's wonderful, wonderful. And Beth loved The Violin Conspiracy
Good.
and Symphony of Secrets.
Well,
Enjoy. I think
good.
you'll love it.
I got both of them from my library so that I could pick or maybe even read both of them. We'll see.
Okay, now is Symphony of Secrets like a sequel or is it just
No, it's
another?
alone, and it's so the violin conspiracy is about a stolen violin, and this one is about a man who discovers that this person's music that he's composed all these years belongs to somebody else, and
Ah,
he has to. Yeah, so I know I'm very excited about both of them.
that they both sound intriguing.
Yeah, they really do.
So Diane has 2.5 hours left in her audiobook. You're making some progress there. And Molly says, I have The Violent Conspiracy on my library list. Hopefully I will get it soon. I have been reading Night Music by Jojo, is it Moyes?
Moyes, yeah.
For
I've
the
heard
music
that one's
prompt.
good. I've liked a few of hers as well, but I heard that one's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alicia read a couple chapters of her monthly layman.
Layman Day, for sure.
Yeah, well, because they're picking these layman books. Gotta go for now. Thanks for hosting and see y'all all around. Happy sprinting. Bye, Nicole. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend.
Yeah.
And I will try to catch your sprints on Monday if I can.
Oh, good. I'll try to do that too.
I think they're in the morning. I don't know if you can do morning
I
sprints.
can because it's a holiday, so I can.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe they're in the morning. I think it's 8 a.m.
Okay.
I have to relook.
All
Stormy
right.
said downstairs making supper, so listening to an audiobook accounts for the Kindle Kobo clean out challenge.
Wow.
As I do with the ebook, and for a very long time, How to Marry a Millionaire Vampire.
Oh, fantastic.
I love that. That's a great title.
Yeah.
Hello, Emily. How are you? Currently reading Freaking Romance Volume 1, A Court of Mist and Fury, which is a reread, Check and Mate by Allie Hazelwood, and Heartstopper Volume 5. I like meeting a fellow multiple
Me too.
reader because I tend to read more than one book at a time. In fact, I'm reading a middle grade book for the Cozy Cottage Book Club that I started yesterday. Because I finished my Brahm book yesterday, so then I picked that one up.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm actually, it's funny because I do that too. I usually have an audio going and a physical and a Kindle, but I also, for Mardi Gras, I didn't mention this, I'm also reading Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe, which is the food prompt, but it's on audiobook from my library. So I listened to that a little bit this morning. So
that book sounds really interesting to me.
Yeah.
It seems like a book that I would really like to read.
So far, so good for me. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, good. You got
Ooh.
Hey.
So
Oh, okay.
oh my goodness. So 58 pages into New Orleans morning, it seems both that The Violent Conspiracy have some unlikable family members.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, based on what the characters' description of the family members, it seemed like they were like
Chauncey's family did not seem like those stellar neighbors that we all want to have, right? Yeah.
Well, maybe Skip will be the redeeming character that will keep us going. So Zach said, I'm going to read Stolen Tongues too. I've been putting it off for 2 years because 2 to 3 reads are by women, but it's time. Okay. Well, I would say, Zach, yeah, I'm thinking about reading mine towards the end of January. So maybe we'll have to kind of see if we can read it around the same time and just, I don't know, compare notes as we go along. But I'm looking forward to that one. I have been needing to read that. That was one that I was supposed to read in December of 2022. Put it on my 23 books for 2023. Didn't read it in 23. So I was like, I got to get to it.
Yeah.
Alicia said Baby Driver was a fun heist movie and she liked it. Good. Richard Lehman really isn't for you, Kat. You see, Laurie, my peeps kind of know.
Yeah.
Like they tell me to please stay away from certain things because they know. They know. And that's probably why I don't have many low rating star books because I'm just not going to read just anything.
Yeah.
Very good, Courtney. Done editing. Yeah, library. Yeah. I don't remember too many rumps, but The Steak by Layman has disturbing sexual content. Yeah, I don't do well with disturbing sexual content. I cannot. It's hard.
Yeah.
Thanks for the sprint. Well, thank you for being here, Robin. Woo-hoo. Yeah. Stephen King, he has a collection called Full Dark. Is it Full Dark? No Stars. It's a collection of novellas. And I loved all of the stories in there. And one of them is called Big Driver. And it was kind of hard to read that story just because of an assault that happens in there. It was very hard to read that. And they made a movie out of it. And I was really, whenever I know that they're making a movie that has that kind of situation, I'm always afraid to watch it just because it's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
But they handled it. I mean, you knew what was happening and it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Sometimes when I read something, I can kind of compartmentalize it a little bit to where it's like I'm reading it, but I'm not envisioning it, if that makes sense. But when you're watching it on the big screen,
I know.
Probably the hardest scene like that ever that I've read and have seen on the big screen is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. Just going to say.
That one was intense. You're right.
Extremely intense. And I don't know how the actresses got through it, honestly.
Yeah. There is a little bit of, there is a reference to sexual assault in The Mystery Guest. But the way Nita Prose does these things where they go a little dark too, she goes a little dark, but she doesn't go deeply dark. And then she pulls you back out pretty quickly with kind of going back to the, the other kinds of characters. But I did put that on Storygraph because I do want people to know there is a little bit of that. So, I mean, and if you've been a victim of sexual assault or harassment or anything,
right.
You just want to.
Yeah, you want people to know about that. But I think Stephen King did it tastefully enough that but still it's one of those things that just makes your blood boil.
I know. You're just like, oh gosh, really? Yeah, not that.
I know. Froggy said, I'm going to have to check out your prompts later tonight and find some books. Froggy, are you on my Discord? Because if you're on my Discord, you can check out, I have a section for the Mardi Gras Readathon, and I have the prompts listed, and we have a little bingo board on there too. And, like Laurie and I said, even if you just read one book, you participated. Right. So we would love for you to continue and participate with us for sure. We appreciate it. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Meaning about the unlikable characters.
Unlikely characters, or unlikable characters, that's good. Good to know.
Diane says, I have a short attention span, so multiple books is a must for me.
Me too.
Well, sometimes you have a book that if you can read it pretty quickly that has short chapters and you have a short amount of time, it's good to pick that one up. You don't want to engage in something that takes a lot of brain. Sometimes if I'm reading something that's really like classic literature, like when I was doing Booktober, like I had to be in a specific mindset and quiet to digest the writing style.
Yes, it's true. That's why I kept on with this, because it was light and I thought it would be good. Oh, Coda joined your Discord already just now. Look
Oh,
at that.
good.
Yeah.
Froggy said, I thought I wouldn't be able to read more than one book at once, but now it's a must. I can't read only one at once.
Yeah.
Well, back before I really started BookTube, I always read like a nonfiction, an adult fiction, and then I had a middle grade going. And my
Yeah.
nonfiction was always a book that I could spend kind of just meandering throughout the month with. It wasn't something
Yeah.
like I had to read every moment, or I could spread it out through the month. And I really liked that because it at least gave me more nonfiction in my reading diet.
Yeah.
And I just love children's lit, especially middle grade. And so I always like to read a couple of that a month or whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of comforting to me. A lot of times too, if I read something really heavy, reading a middle grade kind of helps me
Yeah.
like,
It just kind of for me, that's almost a palate cleanser,
yeah.
like cozy mysteries can be, or
Mhm.
just, romances or something. Yeah, it's like a reset almost.
Yeah, and sometimes middle grade helps me if I'm stressing out. Like if I'm stressing out
Yeah.
about something, it's like, ooh, let me get into this little fantasy story.
Yeah,
The
exactly.
steak was 15 times worse than Big
Oh,
Driver in that way. Mm.
for the morning.
Okay, well, I will not ever read that, Zach. I can guarantee you, because Big Driver was enough to
Yeah.
just perfect. I'll check out the Discord. Thank you,
There
Froggy.
you go. You got some new
Thank you.
Discorders. Yeah.
I was like, Cat has a Discord. Ha ha. Thank you for subscribing to it or joining
Well,
it.
yeah, and thank
Oh,
you.
Alicia, thank you, thank
Thank
you, thank
you.
you. Lori has a wonderful channel.
Oh,
She really does. And she's been posting a lot lately. You've been posting almost daily, it
until
seems
I
like.
went back to work, yeah. But I'm gonna get back caught up again. But I did it the first thing. The first of the years, or the first of the month, is always easier for me because it's like I have a routine, and we have the same, what I read, what I'm going to read, those kinds of things. Then,
Right.
like in the middle of the month, I'm kind of like, oh, what do we talk about now? And then it picks up again at the end of the month. So, yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here, Alicia. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. Always so supportive. Love ya.
Yeah.
Jamie says, I have my audiobook for the car and usually 2 or 3 physical books going at a time. That sounds like a good plan, Jamie. I have a
Oh,
signed copy of Symphony of Secrets. Met the author when he came to the Phoenix area. Oh,
nice.
you little lucky duck.
I love those.
And Beth says, thanks, ladies. It's been fun.
Keep that
Well,
big.
thank y'all very, very much. Is there anything you would like to say, Lori? Anything that's going on in your booktube world that you want to plug? Is there anything
Oh,
coming out this
no,
week
thank
for
you.
you?
I just wanna say thank you to all of you. This was so lovely. It was so much fun. I was looking so forward to it, and it met all of my expectations. And I have so many people to subscribe to now, and looking at all your recommendations, it's just been super. I know we're gonna do the group read, but I'd love to do this again, and maybe with some of you too, if I ever figure out this whole StreamYard.
Well, what we could do is we can look at our calendars, and if there's another day that we can get on together to do sprints for the Mardi Gras, we
Yeah,
can. I mean, we could do one towards the end of January or beginning
yeah,
of February. So
yeah.
we'll text and
It's
see
so
what our
much
calendars
fun.
look
I
like.
love joining them, but it's even more fun being a part of just kind of sharing with people in this way. So this was great. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, I really, really, really like it. I just think we have a wonderful community.
We
Thank
do.
you, Molly, for
Thank
being here. I
you.
appreciate it. I love getting to know Lori's peeps.
Yeah.
And Jamie said, I
Yeah.
only caught the last sprint, but glad to have made it. Thanks for the sprints. Well, we
Yeah.
appreciate you being here, Jamie. Thank you very, very much. Nothing much going on with me except that I am editing my Winterween vlog. I'm in the process of getting my prompts together for Folklore February. I'm a little bit late on that, but it'll get done before
Yeah.
the end of the month, definitely. Hopefully within the next week. That's my goal. And then, of course, I have Wednesday sprints this
Yeah.
Wednesday coming up. And I will plug that I have the Nevermore Readathon is
Yes,
actually
you
kicking
do.
off next Friday, January 19th, which is Edgar Allan Poe's birthday. So if you have joined the Discord, check that out. You don't have to read a whole lot for that because Edgar Allan Poe only wrote one novel and it wasn't very long. He's
Yeah.
mostly short stories and poetry.
Yeah.
So please, if y'all want to check out, if you want to brush up on some Edgar Allan Poe, please do. Laurie has a video out right now, which I need to check that one out. And I have my videos out on my channel as well.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mary Lou, for being here. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all's evening and your weekend. Thank you, Diane, for being here. Yes, Felicia, don't forget the Poe Readathon. I'm already excited for Folklore February. Thank y'all.
Okay.
So in the meantime, everyone, stay amazing and be adventurous.
Yay.
We love y'all.
Bye.
Bye.